good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is the boombar on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Shola Rogers.
And my name is Ola Dolupo. We bid you a warm welcome to the bar this wonderful afternoon. It's a very interesting day today. For people joining us for the very first time. This is just in the real sense of a bar. Plenty gist and drinks. That's basically it. So we urge you to get your own drinks, sit back, relax, and listen or watch us however you're watching or listening to us. And I assure you that you're going to have a very, very interesting ride today. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. The way we like controversies here and there. There's always something, somehow, that we Nigerians always like to. Looks like the new Chief Justice of Nigeria, there's a little bit of contention here and there with his life. Just wait a little bit. Just here and there's a bit of contention about his age here and there. Also, they're going all the way. There's updates because it's one thing that we just don't talk about. One thing I just let it slide. Senator Ekweremadu's story, his arraignment, and his continued detainment in the UK. There's I know a lot of people have been going on about it for a few, like, okay, what's happening with him? Which I actually agree as well, because I feel that is a Nigerian thing. It's not a party thing or anything. So the Senate president has come up with updates today concerning his matter. There were updates a few days ago that the Immigration Service had to say. Now the Senate, where he belongs, they have updates. Also, so there's stuff we're going to be talking about. There's also unofficial Twitter. There's an update from unofficial Twitter commentator. He already has something to say about that also. So that we're going to be talking about. Also, the courts, of course, we know the courts have something to say about apparently some set of people actually went ahead to seek the disqualification of some presidential candidates. The courts have something to say about it. Also, the courts have something to say about the impeachment of a certain deputy governor in this country. That we're going to be talking about. Also, there's a very interesting story that I read this morning, and I felt that we should talk about it. I don't see it being very publicized or people really talking about it, and it is Lagos State has released guidelines as to abortion. They have a bit of clarity and clarification to do in there, and I read a bit of it. It's a 40-page guideline though, which I'm not saying I read. There's an abridged version of it that I did read, and I think it's worth talking about, especially now that all these things are coming to the fore. We know that a few days ago there's been hue and cry about the US and the abortion laws, and of course we know that a lot of things are what's the word now? There's more enlightenment with a lot of things, so our laws and everything should evolve. They're talking about a lot how laws are not evolving and all that. So I think that this is something that we should talk about. Let's look at the good and the bad side of it. Then also, okay. Germany is set to return some artifacts to Africa. About 1,100 artifacts seem to be coming back to Nigeria alone. That's a lot. That's like a lot. My issue now is how many did they steal? If Germany alone is returning that, and we're not even sure that's the proper number. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that also. So this and a few other things here and there as things pop up are things that we're definitely definitely going to be talking about um today. um the federal government, they're talking about their taxes on a few things. Federal government increasing tax on cigarettes. They last week we talked about federal government increasing taxes on things like I think fizzy drinks. Yes, it was fizzy drinks last week. They increased taxes on those. Now they've increased tax on cigarette, which we know that is a constant thing. I think, according to last I heard of those things are really meant to discourage people and literally discourage the sale of those things. So as we are, we'll see how that helps the typical person, helps the people that in that industry, the people that work in that industry, the people that are making sense, and a few other things as well. Also, there's news, if I hope that we can get around to it, that US wants to remove TikTok from Apple and Google app stores over data breach concerns. Now, what it comes up to me is that, okay, so was Donald Trump actually right? Because remember that Donald Trump had banned a few he had banned it when he was president. So really, was Donald Trump was he right doing it as at when he did? So the first thing we're going to talk about, which I think that makes perfect sense, is Senator Ekweremadu. For people that know, let me put a bit of background to it. He's in the US with his wife, UK, detained for human trafficking, specifically alleged human trafficking and organ harvesting. And I think this was about last week. And here they're detained. They've been arraigned in court, and they were denied bail, and they're supposed to be detained till July 7th.
Yeah, when the case is heard.
When the case is heard next. It's very interesting because for me, when we talked about it last time, we're like, okay, that this is it's a very huge allegation and back and forth. And from then till now, because the main allegations were that they brought an underage person, they brought him with fake visas, that the boy did not know he was coming for organ harvesting. They were going to kill him because their own daughter has a lot of allegations flying here and there. But a few days ago, the Nigerian Immigration Service had come out to say that this particular boy was 22 years and not 15, as it was said in court last week. Also, I know that was it yesterday or 2 days ago, the Ekweremadus had sued.
They didn't sue.
Basically, they basically want a court injunction for the NIMC. That's the Nigerian Identity Management Commission, to literally give the details of this boy, so that this could also help them in court as well. So a lot of things have been going here and there. Now, the Senate president, where Senator Ekweremadu, who was also a deputy speaker at some point, had now come out to say that the federal government, through the Nigerian High Commission to the United Kingdom, has actually hired lawyers to defend the senator and his wife.
Yeah.
The Senate president disclosed that today, and he also said that a delegation of the chamber will be in the UK on or before Friday to visit Senator Ekweremadu and his wife.
Yes, I'd first like to apologize for the fact that I had to quickly step out to attend to some guest of ours. However, diving right into the Ekweremadu update and all, I know that the initial frenzy and the fury that greeted this case has died down, and now the facts are emerging and all of that. You also referenced in the intro a certain former senator. I assume you're referring to Shehu Sonny's statement about.
Oh yeah, I was getting to that. I was just not.
I know that's what you were referencing. So I won't say it until you get to it. I'm just saying that I could pick that. That's what you were referencing. And for me, I haven't seen anything that the Senate has done that is wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
I haven't seen anything that the Nigerian government has done that is wrong. And yes, it's good for people to hear their views and have an opinion about everything. And I'm not a big fan of Senator Ekweremadu. I do not like his politics. But trust me, on the side of humanity and everything, I know that the story is not as it was initially presented. And again, if he has proof, if he has proof that what they're accusing him of is not true, shouldn't he have his day in court? Shouldn't he have the day in court to defend himself?
Yeah, that's what, according to what they say, the House of Representatives, that's what they're saying, that there should be a fair hearing and that.
That's it.
Yeah.
And if he's found wanting, of course, it should be
dealt with.
Yeah, it should be made to pay for it. So again, on the side of the alleged victim, in quotes, you will know that some stories are not consistent.
Yeah.
You know that okay, we've heard all sorts of things, and I saw headlines yesterday. That the guy has spoken and he has said his own part and everything. But I'm happy that the judicial system is going to be tested here, but it's not the Nigerian judicial system. Not like I do not have confidence in the Nigerian judicial system. Don't get me wrong, but I think that there will probably be more neutral over there. So Ekweremadu and his family will not get any special treatment, but neither with the victim. As in, it's going to be about facts. It's going to be about the prayers that have been brought and how you're able to respond to them, the allegations. Yeah. So for me, I'm happy that at least this will be corrected somehow. So it's not a big deal that they're rallying around him. It's even good that the federal government is not putting party first.
Yeah, they're not putting party first, and I think that
he's actually a top member of the opposition.
Not even just the fact that he's an opposition, he's a top member of the Nigerian parliament. I think that it does not look good on Nigeria in any way. He is.
As
he's still a senator.
And you said top now. It's just a senator. It was former deputy senate president.
It's still a senator, Sha.
Yeah,
anyway,
top.
Yeah, is the Senate not top parliament in Nigeria? Okay, so basically, I'm even saying that if Nigeria does not do anything, the federal government does not do anything, it sends a wrong signal, it sends a wrong message. So, if he's guilty, good luck. If you're not guilty, I don't think that, as much as whether you like somebody or you don't like somebody, I don't think that innocent people should pay for things that they did not do. Generally, that's what I feel. So, I like the fact that Nigeria as a whole is rallying around them.
Not Nigeria as a whole,
the federal
Nigerian government. Because the word on the street, a lot of people are actually very angry.
My own issue
because
is,
on the day the news broke, he had granted an interview a few days before that time, where he spoke
his mind
in a not so.
He spoke his mind.
Yes, he spoke his mind in a not so friendly way to supporters of one presidential candidate.
Exactly, it was his opinion,
and his fans and supporters were really coming for the guy's head, to the point where they're saying things like, "Oh, it is because he went against their guy that he has this legal dilemma." I have read such things. I've heard them even list. They have a long list of 3 or 4 people who they say came against the man, and it's gone this way.
It's very interesting how we're so superstitious. We think that everything must. I think that maybe we don't believe in coincidence as much as we should. But anyway, for me, I still feel that when he spoke about it, people will talk about things that you do not agree with. It doesn't change the fact that it is their opinion. That is where freedom of speech, freedom of expression comes into play. People can express themselves as long as it is not against the law.
I like the caveat that you added.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people misconstrue the concept of freedom of speech. Oh, because
speech has landed people in jail or treason.
Because they said you have freedom of speech does not mean
freedom after speech you might
does not mean that there are no caveats. There is a limit to everything, and there's a place where your freedom of speech ends. Especially when you're impugning on other people and you're inciting the public, or you're just basically stating free speech without facts.
Without just being really. That's it for me. So people can say whatever it is they like, and if maybe. And then another thing I was going to, with what you said, another thing that I noticed is that a lot of Nigerians these days seem to feast on people's bad news. And I'm like, where is our human side?
Yeah.
It's almost like you are happy a bad thing happens to someone.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, when did we become like this? Like, this politics or this elections is going to come and go. And you have said all sorts of things to people. You have made, in the honest truth, a lot of people that we seem to follow, or would I say support, half of the times they don't even care about you that much.
Yeah. But
you have made so much enemies. You have said so many things. You have done so many things to people that don't know you. They probably don't even know you exist. They're probably never gonna know you exist.
Yeah, it's actually very true. I just caught myself saying yeah to everything you were putting out there. The way things are stacked now, it's deja vu for me, and I know it's deja vu for a lot of people. You're talking about people saying things, and especially now that we are moving into top gear when it comes to the electioneering process. In the process of trying to elect a new president in Nigeria in about 8 months' time, tempers are already flaring. Lines are being drawn. The lines are so blurred and so thin in certain situations now that you would find that people will cross those lines without even thinking twice about it. Friends are already fighting friends. Brothers are turning against brothers. All on behalf of people who, when push comes to shove, will take care of themselves first and forget you don't even exist in their world. I remember when the presidential candidate of the PDP now, in this new window, Abubakar Atiku, former vice president, was making his declaration. He had Timi Dakolo there performing, And not only was Timmy there performing, Peter Obi, his former running mate of 4 years ago, was there also. Today, Peter Obi is the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Atiku is the presidential candidate of the PDP.
Exactly.
And every time they ask Peter Obi, he says, "Oh, Atiku is his senior brother. He's his boss. Is this, is that." So again, no matter how much you like anybody, please understand that, politicians, they're all friends. All of them. Every single one of them.
Talking about politics here, I just saw something now. Literally just saw something. This tweet was made 23 minutes ago, where the former governor of Ekiti State, Governor Ayodele is handled on Twitter at @gov_ayo_fayose, just tweeted. He didn't say anything. All he tweeted was looks like a portion of the PDP's constitution. And he said, the PDP constitution provides for a rational presidency. Section 3C provides that the party shall pursue its aims and objectives by adhering to the policy of the rotation and zoning of party and public elective offices in pursuance of the principle of equity, justice, and fairness. Full stop. And he adds nothing to it. Isn't this very cryptic?
Very cryptic, especially when you consider who it's coming from.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, Governor Fayose is an amazing politician. I use the word amazing loosely. I know he doesn't just put things out without having a reason for them. You might not like his politics also. You might not even like his persona. But the truth is, him going to tweet the PDP constitution
on a particular matter.
And when you bear in mind what has transpired in the PDP, like for instance, Governor Nyesom Wike, who seems to be very close to Governor Fayose, right? If I'm not mistaken, they seem to be close. Had contested the PDP primaries alongside several candidates from the north and south, and ideally it was supposed to be the time for
the south
and all of that, you know. So they are aggrieved members of that party.
Oh yeah, talking about aggrieved members, I don't know if you saw the interview of Governor Udom, where he was talking about how, specifically his words, God has not told him to support Atiku yet.
You see?
And how he feels that Governor Wike was cheated.
Well, according to him, he was part of the committee. I think it was a 17-man committee or so, or thereabout, that kind of odd figure, less than 20. And I think 14 or more of them had voted for Governor Nyesom Wike to become Atiku's vice president. And Atiku still went ahead to pick Okowa, you get, who they claim had maybe 3 votes or so. Now, you might also not like Governor Udom of Benue State, but he made one very solid point, that why would you set up a committee to help you choose your running mate, then not take the advice or the report of the committee? Why didn't you just do what you wanted to do?
Do what you wanted to do.
You know? So again, apart from the fact that Governor Wike lost the primaries due to some political machinations that happened on the day of the PDP primaries, we all know that his agreement in place with some people actually collapsed on the floor of the primaries, where some people had arrived, especially some delegates from the northern part, switched
allegiance in like seconds. Yeah.
So apart from what happened there, which he should even hold a grudge, he did not. Then his name was not being bandied around as a potential vice president. And knowing Wike, it's hard for him to even swallow that he wants to be anybody's vice president. But maybe he got sold on the idea. I was like, okay, you know what? For the love of the party,
let's do this.
And you see, there's one thing about Nyesom Wike that you must acknowledge today. From the day he became a PDP person, he has stayed in the PDP.
Yes.
He has never sold out on that party. He hasn't gone anywhere else. He hasn't done anything else. In fact, he's rumored to be the one that kept the party going financially at some point. So it's difficult for someone like that to want to offer himself up for service, and he doesn't get it, then he gets rubbed in his face again, you know. So understanding what Governor Udom said, and the closeness between these two, when Udom has projects to launch or push, you see
a lot of
Wike,
Governor Wike there, and you know,
Wike has invited him vice versa.
That's why this whole thing is very interesting. Like yesterday, this morning, everybody's going on about what Governor Udom says, and then in a matter of minutes now, this thing has literally been trending. Yeah. It's barely 30 minutes ago that and you're wondering, like, okay, what exactly is happening?
It will trend largely due to the interest of people who want the PDP to fail. That's the APC supporters and the Labour Party supporters and all the other parties. It will trend because A weakened PDP is a plus for the
every
other
party.
parties. So it will trend. A lot of people really don't want anybody else to get it except them. If the Labour Party has some negative news coming up now, trust me, the APC people will celebrate it and act like, man, it's the best thing that's ever happened to them.
Yeah.
And if it happens to someone in the APC, it's the same thing that you're going to hear and you're going to witness, you know. So, yes, Governor Fayose is still an important force when it comes to politics in Nigeria, and he's also another person that, regardless of all the things that has transpired, has stayed in the PDP as against their current presidential candidate who has been in at least three parties.
That's back and forth. I agree with you. And before I know that literally popped up, but I was just going to move on to something before we move. Finally, going back to Senator Ekweremadu's issue. Former senator, or is he still? He's not a senator. Former senator Shehu Sani has reacted to the Senate sending delegation to London, and is saying that the Senate should also send delegation to Cotonou for Sunday Igboho.
Now, this is my take on.
And I'm lost. What's happening?
This is my take on Shehu Sani, the senator. I think he has cracked the code when it comes to becoming an influencer. A lot of people.
No, a commentator.
Influencer is a social media influencer now.
Social media commentator.
Influencer. It's English that we're speaking. They're both correct. And you're actually wasting time here. Now, this man has cracked the code when it comes to becoming an influencer. And it's time some brands started taking him serious and giving him things to tweet for them and actually pay him some good money, because he knows how to play on emotions. He knows how to key into, the opposition vibes. He knows how to play that sentiment up. He does it all the time. The other day he tweeted about 6 or 7 things that were wrong with Nigeria, or that people, and he talked about politicians and politics, and I'm like, wow, uncle, you are a politician. You just tweeted against yourself now. But of course, he's an influencer, so influencers most times just tweet. So what is the correlation between Sunday Igboho and the Nigerian Senate? And the Nigerian Senate is supposed to uphold the Nigerian law. Sunday Igboho has never been a member of the Senate, never been a principal officer of the Senate, does not carry a Nigerian diplomatic passport like ikeekweremadu does. So I don't know why he has done this, but I know why he has done it. Again, I said he's cracked the code, because this is the kind of sentiment that will have people's blood boiling.
Talking. But my question is, as a senator or as a former senator, yeah, you'll think that they will understand a bit of issues. Now, how is what's happening to Senator Ekweremadu the same thing to what's happening with Sunday? What does Sunday Igboho have to do with this conversation?
What has Igboho been accused of? Okay, in Benin Republic, where he is arrested, what has he been accused of? What is the allegation against him, and how is it similar?
How is it? Do you understand? I'm like, okay, because at times, to me, it just looks like he's doing whatever he wants to do, wherever he wants to do it. And also, sorry, because it looks like there are a lot of news that are just popping up that I might actually forget. Let's move on quickly to sports. Something just popped up in sports now, as it was just tweeted now that, remember, I don't know if anybody is following Wimbledon. Yeah, yesterday Harmony Tan actually beat Serena Williams. Yeah, very interesting match. And this and she's pretty much a newbie, beating Serena Williams, and that's amazing. I have a question now. As of today, Harmony Tan has pulled out of the women's doubles because she has an injury. Now the question is that if she is pulled out, what happens?
She didn't pull out of the singles. She just pulled out of the doubles.
Now,
she might be back in time for our next singles game.
so
Might,
now,
might.
yeah, has the very interesting news is that has seen Adobos partner tweets this and says, "I'm very sad and disappointed, and also very angry that I can't play my first doubles Grand Slam, and it is really not fair on me. I didn't deserve that. If you are broken after a 3-hour match the day before, you can't play professional."
Well, it shows that they're not on the same page.
Wow.
A doubles partner is they're not on the same
That's
page.
Tamara Kopash. Yeah, Kopash.
Whatever her name is.
I'm like, wow.
She sounds like someone who is jealous of a doubles partner's success, and also extremely opinionated, because again, it was Serena that she played.
Like, where are we human beings like this?
For about 3 hours, and
it is Serena, yeah.
It was one of the toughest games that anybody could have played. You get. Sadly, I was rooting for Serena, being a lifelong Serena fan, but understand that she's been away from the game for so long, and she's 40. You understand, and she still was able to play the way she played yesterday. And the lady who beat her had to put in everything she had. Like, he went into a tie break, and it was on and on and on, and it was unrelenting. And I'm like, whoa, this is tennis at the maddest level. Then she gets injured, obviously because she probably went all out
because she probably didn't plan to play that long.
At this point, you're supposed to understand what she's gone through. Reverse it, and if it was you that actually played Serena for so long and still won, but can't play your doubles game, what are you gonna do? Would you be happy if someone starts to call you out, your doubles partner, for that matter? This partnership that they have is not working.
It's definitely not working. Okay, so let's come back to politics. As there's news today, we're going to the courts, which I didn't even know that there was anything like that in the courts. As it says that a court has rejected a motion that is seeking to disqualify Bola Tinubu and Atiku. And I'm wondering, oh wow, some people were planning to disqualify them.
Yeah, of course, there have been several things back and forth about the candidacy of Bola Tinubu and Abubakar Atiku, former Vice President Abubakar Atiku. Even Peter Obi himself and every other candidate. The last week we were talking about the candidate of the ADC being accused of God knows what. You get, but I think it's all part of politics at the end of the day, and a lot of people seem to be like in a position where they'll do whatever it takes to win an election. Now, some of these tactics might not be endorsed by the principal, and they might be, you never can tell, but they will do whatever they can. And I think that's one of the things that they wanted to do, to have
okay, so
these two
according to
disqualified.
The plaintiffs were Rights for All International, and the Northern Nigerian Youth Democrats were the ones that took these people to court. Now, according to what the court is saying that before you bring a case to court, you at least need to serve the defendants a notice. So, it seems like people that are not serious. Because how is it that is the judge? The judge literally threw your case out because you did not even serve the defendants a notice. What did you think was going to happen?
So, lawyers are meant to go to law school, and that's after spending 4 or 5 or 6
5 years.
Or 6 years, as the case may be, for some people, or 7, with ASU in the mix, in university, getting their first degree as lawyers, then going to get qualification at the law school. Then you become a professional.
And then you do this.
Then you can practice in whatever field that you choose. But in going through that entire process, you would have learned basic things like, court process.
Like, you know when they say you got served. Yeah, at least serve them a notice. Let them know they're being sued.
If you didn't even go to law school, you watch films
and
you see that they come and serve people.
So what exactly was your plan?
That's even a technicality that shouldn't be happening in 2022. Did you use a charge and bill lawyer or a year one student? Because whatever it is that they were trying to achieve, they just negated it with the way they're gone about
like
it.
A very, very simple issue. Still talking about the courts. This is now a more interesting matter where Oyo State High Court that sat in Ibadan today has restrained the State House of Assembly from further impeachment process against the Deputy Governor of the state, Engineer Rauf Olaniyan. So he gave the order today, and then the Assembly had earlier alleged the Deputy Governor had committed some offences, and the Deputy Governor then approached the court to halt his impeachment process. The court now today has restrained the lawmakers from further impeachment process against the Deputy Governor. It ruled that the State Assembly should stop any removal process until the case is sorted in court.
Yeah. Politics and the law. They go pari passu. They're side by side, 5 and 6. Everybody knows that there's been a falling out between the Deputy Governor of Oyo State and his principal of the government.
Oh, especially when
it's been on for years. It's not. It didn't just happen yesterday. You understand? It's been on for years, and this usually happens as a fallout of politicking. So, when there's a marriage of strange bedfellows, all with the aim of getting something, when they get it, they now cannot sit down and look each other in the eye and profess that love. So the marriage goes south. This is what has happened. Sheyi Makinde must have gone into some alliance with the group that produced the deputy governor.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, they've fallen out. It's just clear politics. And to confirm that, Sheyi Makinde is seeking a second term in office. And he has a new running
mate, yeah.
And his deputy governor is still alive and he's still in government with him.
But yeah, that one too has moved to another party too.
He moved eventually to another party. He moved after all of this, or during. But we all know that he didn't just start today.
Oh yeah.
For both of them, they're going to go at each other, and it depends on who. It's a case of who blinks first now.
Yeah, we talked about this when this issue started, and I was like that we were expecting that was going to be an impeachment process. It's almost like you can actually determine, really.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time it's happening. It has happened in the presidency before.
Mm-hmm.
But what my issue was, I remember what I said then was that just do it according to
by the book,
by the book, so that we don't have this court processes. But of course, here we are.
Yeah, and it's always good to do an assessment. Mm-hmm. Like, you understand your strengths and your weaknesses. You understand where you are and say, we want the deputy governor out. How do we do it legally? You get. Of course, it's the House of Assembly that you will use. But how do they go about it in a way that, the court will not stop them? Again, it's not like it's uhuru for the deputy governor, because the stay of action is just for a few days.
Exactly. Now, we don't know how long this court case is going to last for.
It's just for a few days, and you don't know what will happen on the day they reconvene. But Oyo is going to get interested. There's going to be a lot of things.
It's going to be a very interesting.
Sheyi Makinde on his own path has been very smart. He's not saying anything. He's not making any statements. At least not in public. You get, And he's not for lack of what to say, but I think it's a strategy. But of course, he has a lot of followers and supporters who are fighting the battle for him. Interestingly, the deputy governor also has some kind of supportership, out there.
Especially, he just moved to another party, so the party seems to be like really behind him.
Nigerian politics is very interesting.
Very, 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 very interesting. So let's move off away from politics and move on to something that maybe will take a bit of our time. And this is where I'm saying that Lagos State has released a 40-page document on abortion laws, let me put it like that, in Lagos. And the first thing that I was going to say was that according to a reproductive health organization in Nigeria, Mr. Emmanuel, which I think that is information that everybody needs to put out there, is that abortion in Nigeria, according to the law, is not illegal. It is just restrictive. Now, according to Lagos State, they're talking about different scenarios of abortion, which they're claiming that the idea is to reduce mother and child mortality and all that. And they're saying that there are different situations where people can actually get proper safe evacuation of basically. So now, there are a few things that I saw that I probably
noted
wanted to read out. Basically, they're talking about safe termination of pregnancy. They're talking about the very first one is when the health of the mother is at risk. In fact, they're saying that in a lot of these cases that it is better to do it because private hospitals and all may have issues with those things. So government hospitals would actually, it's safer to do those things in government hospitals when it has an issue with the health of the mother. Now they're also talking about cases that have to do with rape and incest. And when the mother or the carrier of this baby in those circumstances also do not want to carry the baby to term, that it is also, according to Lagos laws now, that it is also legal to terminate pregnancies in this.
I'm not trying to mock anybody, but I think a lot of countries in the world should come and study what Lagos State is doing, Lagos, Nigeria, and Nigeria by extension. Because, again, I've always advocated for an upgrade of our laws because some of them are very prehistoric, they are archaic, and they are not in tune with the times. So, kudos to the entire team of the governor and the legal people who have put this document together. And again, really and truly, I don't want to say, because we've heard, especially now that in the US, it's causing riots. The Supreme Court in America upturned an old case in a way that
a 50-year-old case.
Yeah, in a way that is causing riots and people are not happy. And now, they say it's from state to state now, and some states have already started acting on it and all of that. But let's be real with ourselves. I saw someone say, that the person was alleging that it has to do with promiscuity. Like people getting abortions has to do with promiscuity.
The funny thing.
But I think that's a very, very myopic way of looking at it.
Very myopic. I would agree with you.
That in Lagos now, they are now breaking it down to the different scenarios. You get
where it is very possible
that someone would require an abortion. Again, one of the things that I'm happy about is that when there's a law and there's awareness about it, one thing might be tackled properly and it will save a lot of lives. With or without the law, I like to say I have heard about it that people still get abortions in all sorts of places and in all sorts of things.
Yes, and
with or without a law.
And that is where my issue comes from.
But if you now demystify that thing to the point where you know that you can actually walk up and get a safe evacuation for these reasons and other reasons, it might save a lot of lives and a lot of wombs, because at times they go to quacks.
Oh, not at times. A lot of times.
At times they are forced to drink.
A lot of times.
Women are forced to drink concussions and take all sorts of funny pills.
Okay.
And all.
Now my issue really is, as much as everybody, I know that I would say kudos to Lagos state government because they've tried to break a lot of these things down. Makes sense. But I still have a very little argument with that. Let's even say that, yes, it's promiscuity. Let's say that it is. Shouldn't a human being, a full-grown adult that is not mentally challenged, be able to determine, even if it had nothing to do with rape or incest or is affecting our health or anything? Do I agree with the angle of abortion? Maybe not, when it comes to some situations. But if you feel that that is the right move for you, even if all these scenarios that Lagos state government is saying did not happen, and it was willingly, and you don't feel like it anymore, shouldn't you be able to determine what happens to your body?
You should.
That's where my question is, like, why is there even a conversation? Why is there laws about abortion or what? That is where my issue comes from.
You know, sadly, biologically, the world is crafted in a way where some things are already programmed to be a disadvantage. Not by science, but by people. By men, let's be honest, men like me.
Yeah.
Who feel that they need to be in charge and in control of everything. You know, if you flip it, I like to flip things a lot. And imagine if pregnancies were both ways. These abortion laws will not stand. Why is it that it's majorly men that are calling the shots? And telling women what to do and what not to do and how to do it. I am not making a case for anything other than fairness and a level playing field where women are allowed to make their choices. And you know, apart from artificial insemination, these women don't get pregnant on their own.
Exactly.
there are men involved.
So,
you know, so why do we just feel that we can tell
you can tell people what to do, how to live their lives?
Meanwhile, you up to all sorts of things, you know. So yes, we pro-life or anti-life or whatever because of where we stand. It's just labels. In reality, in brass tacks,
because things happen.
We need to allow people
take their own decisions. As long as it does not affect a next human being, really, people should be able to do whatever it is they want to do. And still talking about that news that just popped up now, the Taliban has banned women from gathering on national issues. Like literally, like women can be involved in protests, women can be involved in nothing.
Second base.
What?
According to fella, second base, Jerry. Can we talk about something else?
No, we're talking about this.
I'm done. I'm not going to comment on the Taliban. I don't think it's worth my time.
Anyway, talking about Nigerians. Remember last week where I was talking about Nigerians and the number of people that leave Libya by the droves every time, and news again. This was just last week. You know where I was telling you, another 131 Nigerians have returned from Libya today.
this is not something to talk about with joy or glee. We must be happy that this 150
131.
or 131, thank you for the correction, made it back home. There are videos and pictures online of Africans being massacred en masse just because of something similar. And the world is quiet about it. Nobody's talking about this massacre. Everybody's being careful and we're treading on eggshells. You do not want to offend the owners of the world. But these are innocent people trying to seek a better life or escaping God knows what life-threatening situation, only to come and meet with their own untimely death. You know, nobody's talking about it. So for every time Nigerians make it back home, I'm going to be like the prodigal father in the Bible and celebrate the fact that regardless of whatever they've been through or what made them leave, they're back home alive.
Okay, so there's a news that broke last week of a lady that raised a false alarm on Twitter that she and 16 other people were
Amira or something.
Yeah, Amira Safianu. And yesterday evening, news broke where the police had announced that she was being arraigned in court, and she was going to be charged to court for raising false alarm and all that, amid even the security issues that we were dealing with in Nigeria, which a lot of people like, yeah, that she needed to be taught a lesson and all that, and people need to be brought to book. Do I feel that she needs to be brought to book? Yes, I agree. And a magistrate court in Wuse has now granted her bail over mental health issues.
Nice one.
I don't know how to feel about this, actually.
So this is my own take on it. It's been said that she's from a well-to-do family. She's not someone from the poor side of town. And it's looking like that already. It doesn't look like justice is going to come to everybody regardless of their status, because this lady does not have any mental health issues. The people who know her have already said this was what was happening before the police even caught on to it. How do you reconcile this with the fact that the day the Nigerian police announced its app that will allow you get a rapid response from the police,
more than 10,000 fake alerts were on it.
They were inundated.
So are we saying that everybody that did that, they all have mental health issues?
That's it. They were inundated, and that more or less messed that app up. I don't know what state it is now, but this is what we're talking about. So if we can do that, and we're now saying that we want a rapid response from the police, from the DSS and the army,
and they're not even sure if you're saying the truth or not.
Personnel in Nigeria, but some people can come, cook up a story, and take us on a wild goose chase for over 2 or 3 days, only for you to say, yeah, okay, well, it's all right.
For me,
I personally feel, though, that there's nothing wrong with this lady other than the fact that she did that for a personal gain. Yeah. And she's about to be rewarded now.
To me.
And how do you want people to take people serious?
People serious. I think that the House of Assembly needs to look into legislation for this kind of things. These things there should be a law against these things. Really, that's what I feel. Basically, anyway, before we go, there's news that Germany is set to return about 1,100 Benin bronze heads
that was stolen. You see, there's things that we need to really be honest
1,100. Wow.
Reverse it. If it was Africans that had gone to Europe and are taking these artifacts away, we all know what would have happened.
You know, I saw this that you said. I saw a tweet where there was a picture. Someone tweeted there was a white woman that put up a placard that said, "Let's be thankful the Africans don't want revenge."
Yeah. Yes. and we don't. We're not interested in revenge.
Do you understand?
No African is interested. We just want to move on with our lives. So you all came here, killed our people, raped and maimed, and stole natural resources, and again our artifacts. And now that you're returning them in bits.
In bits.
We're supposed to clap for you. Second base, Jerry.
Okay, before we go, let's move on from that, as this issue is very interesting, because now I won't say that I'm beginning to tilt towards Donald Trump, but it looks like there's something that Donald Trump might have done that looks like it might not be a bad thing after all. As the United States Federal Communications Commission has said, they're calling on Apple and Google to remove TikTok from their app stores, as their claims that the app is harvesting extensive amounts of personal and sensitive data.
Well, you can't rule
I ain't
that.
got TikTok anyway.
You can't rule that out of what's going on in and around the world. If you take a look at it, you point at TikTok because it's Chinese. But are you going to sit down there boldly and say every app you use is not doing the same thing that TikTok, that they're accusing TikTok of?
No, I agree. But remember that
saying,
he had banned TikTok. Donald Trump had banned TikTok. Okay, which
so
we know that
Donald
his
Trump
own
had banned
was
TikTok.
his own was.
We get that. But WhatsApp is fantastic. Twitter does not harvest. You know, Facebook is not doing the same. Is that what we're saying? Yeah. The truth is, the instant you sign up for these apps, anything can happen. Where is Telegram from? Everybody knows Telegram is Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what's going on? Remember the time when people were downloading camera apps on their phone, and those things
and then they realized that
information from you and all of that. You know, the apps are monitoring you. Everybody knows all the talk about algorithms and everything. It's just down to information gathering, tracking, and all of these things. We are at the mercy of technology. So I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon, although I'm going to delete my TikTok once we're done with this episode of the Boombar. But who is to say that all the other people are not doing it?
They are not doing it as well. Yeah, it's a very very interesting world. And on that note, before we go, it is the former governor of Lagos State's birthday. You know, there are actually a lot of June people, like very important people that are actually born in June. It's beautiful, you know. Anyway, the former governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Raju Fashola, is 59 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to him, the president, the Federal Executive Council. Everybody's talking about how he's an exceptional person, and it is his birthday today. So on that note, that is all we'll be able to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very, very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with another wonderful edition of the bar at 3 p.m. West African time. Have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.